Bernie Sanders is making his first trip to Tucson for his presidential campaign. Stella Inger joins us live from Reed Park with more on the senator's agenda.
Good evening, Guy. Bernie Sanders is expected here at the rally in just about an hour, and gates open 6 o'clock on the dot. And as you can see, people are going inside. It's on a first come, first served basis, and there are a lot of people here. They're expecting about 5,000 or more. Now, Sanders' campaign says the senator will cover several topics tonight. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. It includes his college affordability plan. If passed, the bill would eliminate the undergraduate tuitions at all four-year public colleges and universities. And while in Tucson, he hopes to attract U of A students. Now, Bernie Sanders will also talk prescription drugs and wealth inequality. As you know, Sanders is a self-proclaimed socialist who is running as a Democrat, though Hillary Clinton is still the front runner. Again, gates open at 6 o'clock. Bernie Sanders expected here at 7 o'clock, and I can tell you there are a lot of people, as you can see behind me. Guy, I'm going to send it back to you, and we are awaiting his arrival.
Thank you, Stella. A U.S. Border Patrol agent charged in the fatal shooting of a Mexican teen pleaded not guilty today in federal court. Border Patrol agent Lonnie Swartz is accused of shooting and killing 16-year-old Jose Antonio Elena Rodriguez nearly 3 years ago. Not in your sides, Ricky Mitchell was in the courtroom today and joins us now with more information.
Well, Guy, a federal judge allowed agent Lonnie Swartz to remain free until his trial in November, but he has to adhere to several pretrial conditions. He has to surrender any firearms, and he cannot travel outside of Arizona or Nevada, where he currently lives. Swartz was indicted last month with second-degree murder in the 2012 shooting death of Jose Antonio Elena Rodriguez. The Mexican teen was near the border fence in Nogales, Sonora, when he was shot 10 times from the Arizona side. The Border Patrol has said Swartz was under attack from rock throwers at the time. Today was Swartz's first court appearance in this case. It was also the first time that Araceli Rodriguez saw her son's accused killer.
Es muy difícil estar en un juzgado, en un tribunal.
It's very difficult to be in the courtroom watching my son's killer without being able to scream at him, without being able to say anything.
Swartz is currently on administrative leave without pay. His trial will start November 17th in federal court, and we did also reach out to Swartz's attorney for comment, but we did not receive a response. In the newsroom, I'm Ricky Mitchell, KGUN9 on your side.
Thank you, Ricky. A windy day for us. Will the gusts stick around into the weekend? Not in your side, Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen is here with more.
Well, in short, Guy, they'll stick around for part of our weekend. A live look outside on our sky cam still showing the palm trees swaying quite a bit, although we have lost those wind gusts in the Tucson area. 12-mile-an-hour gusts right now in Wilcox, 20 in Sells. Our sustained wind at 9 miles per hour from the southeast. As anticipated, the wind has tapered off somewhat now that the sun is setting, but we do expect it to be elevated again the first half of the day tomorrow. And then we're looking at round 3 from the same exact storm system next week. I'll tell you what it'll bring us, as well as your bear down forecast and what to expect if you're headed to Mount Lemmon this weekend.
Tucson's cultural diversity is on display this weekend. The Tucson Meet Yourself Festival kicked off today downtown. Best known for the many different food vendors, the 3-day festival draws thousands of people downtown to see what this city has to offer. Not in your sides, Christina Myers is live at El Presidio Park, where there are a few hours left to go out and join the fun tonight.
Oh, hey, you know, just getting my face painted. It's cool. Now, this is just one of the many fun activities that you can enjoy out here at Tucson Meet Yourself. It's not all about the food. There are some fun things that you can do out here, some crafts that you can see and things like that. Now, we are seeing the crowd starting to pick up quite a bit out here now that people are starting to get out of work. So, you know, you might want to think about taking maybe more than just a day to enjoy all of the things that Tucson Meet Yourself has to offer.
Live music fills the air this weekend at El Presidio Park as thousands of people walk around checking out handmade crafts, jewelry, and artwork.
How much is these?
Those are $8.
But the main event at Tucson Meet Yourself is the food.
Yum!
Costa Rican, Turkish, Russian, just to name a few. There seems to be something to satisfy any craving.
It's fascinating to us that there are that many ethnic groups that live within our city that until you come down here, most of the time, you don't ever run into all of these people or get any clue. So, it's just fun.
And all of that fun continues tonight until 10. How's this looking so far? I can't wait to take a look at it. Now, if you can't make it out tonight, the festival does continue through the weekend. Tomorrow, 11 to 10, and then Sunday, 11 to 6. For now, live at El Presidio Park, Christina Myers, KGUN9 on your side.
Looking good, Christina. Face painting is so much fun.
It is. I hope she brings me back some horchata.
Oh, yeah.
I saw some of that there. All right, let's give you a look at the forecast for tonight. Mostly clear for viewing our meteor shower. You want to look to the northwest or just directly overhead. I'll let you know what's on the way for the weekend coming up.
Bernie Sanders expected to take the stage at Reed Park in just a little bit. Stella Inger has a live report coming up. And a player who Arizona basketball is coveting will be in Tucson tomorrow. You're watching KGUN9 on your side. And before we go, just about 30 minutes now until Bernie Sanders takes the stage at Reed Park. Let's go once again live to Stella Inger.
Yeah, Guy, the excitement is building here. If you could take a look behind me, you can see a mariachi band here. A lot of people cheering. They're excited. Like you said, 30 minutes away from Bernie Sanders taking the stage here, which is set for him. In the meantime, though, I do want to tell you about a poll that was recently released. Bernie Sanders is on a roll when it comes to raising money. Yahoo Finance found Bernie Sanders has collected $26 million in donations from July to September. That's more than every single Republican candidate's raised during the same period. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton pulled in $28 million in that same period. So, again, Bernie Sanders gaining momentum. They're expecting about 7,000 people here today. The last time that he was in Arizona, which was in Phoenix, there was a crowd of 11,000 people who showed up. So Bernie Sanders gaining momentum. You can hear the crowd here clapping as they're getting ready. 30 minutes away, the mariachi band here behind me, getting people excited for Bernie Sanders here in Tucson. All right, Guy, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Stella. Boy, the wind is still coming up out there.
It certainly is. Yeah, it'll taper off a little bit here once that sun sets, but we still expect it to stay fairly elevated overnight. And then during the first half of the day tomorrow, expect those wind gusts to still pick up between about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So not quite as strong as what we had today. But then by the afternoon, our wind will not be as much of a concern as our chance for rain. There is a 10% chance by 4 o'clock. That afternoon high, by the way, at 91. The rest of your holiday weekend in the low 90s as well, because Monday, yeah, that's Columbus Day. We'll be at 92 with partly cloudy skies both Sunday as well as Monday. And then brace for round 3, which really shouldn't be all that bad, but round 3 from the same storm system that is bringing us the wind today, it will move back in again Thursday with a 20% chance for showers.
All right, thank you very much. CW News at 9, KGUN9 News at 10. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Guy Atchley.
And I'm Stella Inger. For the second time, frontrunner Donald Trump made his way to Arizona. Thousands of people joined him at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport.
He held back nothing, including his thoughts on terror.
And we have politicians that don't even know what the words mean. We have a politician that won't even talk about radical Islamic terrorism. He will not issue the term. And how do you solve a problem if you don't want to even talk about it? And by the way, if some of those people that were slaughtered in Paris, with 130 dead and many more going to die, they're decimated. They're in very sad shape. As we have in California, more going to die. They're in very bad shape. We have 14 dead, more going to die. If some of those people in Paris, probably the #1 place anywhere in the world for gun control, Paris and France, you can't have a gun. Unless you're a bad guy, you can walk in with whatever you want. if some of those people had a gun tied to their ankle, or a gun tied right up here to their waist, or a gun right over here, they would have had a hell of a fighting chance, and I guarantee you the result would have been a hell of a lot better.
That's not all he said. He touched on the economy and his competition. For more on that, team coverage in Mesa tonight.
And your side's Keaton Thomas is standing by with a crowd reaction and protesters. But first, we begin with Craig Smith with a wrap-up of today's event. Craig.
Well, Donald Trump did seem to have a good time playing to his public here at a private hangar at the Mesa Gateway Airport. Pretty big crowd. It was a fairly large hangar. The crowd filled it up about halfway, but that's still a very substantial crowd. Maybe 3,100 to 5,000 is the range of the estimate range that we heard in this case. He didn't really follow sort of a linear speech. He hopped among a variety of topics, and let's go ahead and hear from him.
They're saying, are you going to run as an independent? I said, you know, I just got a poll where I'm at 41 and other guys are at 2 and 3 and 7. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I think I'll leave now and I'll run as an independent. But they never show the crowd size. You know that, right? I always talk about it. I go home, my wife said, did you have many people? Because they just don't show the crowd. They show my face. They never show the crowd. I built a great company. I built a tremendous company, very little debt, tremendous cash flow, the best assets. And the only reason I say it, I'm not saying it because it sounds terrible in a certain way. I don't want to brag, but that's the thinking we need in this country. We have 19 trillion in debt. Hillary Clinton is a disaster. She's going to be beaten. She's a disaster. Don't forget, her and Obama helped get us into this mess with the migration. Her with, let's go into Libya, let's go here. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She wakes up in the morning. I will not say that she puts on her pantsuit because that's what she does. I'm not going to say it. I'm not saying it.
Now, Trump repeated his promise to have a large, much taller fence on the border between the United States and Mexico, and he promised to force the Mexican government to pay for that. On another topic, he spoke about the Time Magazine Person of the Year award, which Time recently gave to Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. Mr. Trump suggested that he should have been Time's Person of the Year, but he also went on to say that Time Magazine as a publication is one that's going down the tubes. Reporting live in Mesa, Craig Smith, KGUN9 on your side.
Craig, thank you. Continuing Trump coverage. 9 on your side's Keaton Thomas joins us live outside with the reactions from supporters and others who are not that fond of the frontrunner. Keaton?
Yeah, well, we're actually at the hangar where all of this took place earlier today at Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. And I can tell when we got here earlier this morning, lots of supporters wrapped way far down there long before this rally even started. I actually talked to the person who was front in line. He said he got here at 3 in the morning this morning. Now, as for reaction, though, I spoke to a number of people actually as they walked out of the rally afterwards. And firm supporters say that they really enjoyed the energy that Trump had. Others say that hearing him in person and what he was saying in person actually confirmed their support for him. I also asked one woman about some of his more recent remarks on either women or some of the racial minorities that he's talked about. She said she doesn't necessarily agree with everything he says, but still that she would vote for him if he was on that presidential ballot. Now, there was a small crowd of protesters out here as well. Very small, though, maybe about 20 at most. Much of their complaints had to do with Trump's most recent idea of banning Muslims from immigrating to the United States, and also some of those past comments on Mexicans. Now, most interesting to me, though, was a few people who weren't necessarily supporters, but actually trying to learn more about the candidate, and they actually left his rally early.
He started off the rally, you know, talking about himself, talking about last night's debate, talking about Jeb Bush and all the stabs he took at him last night, and it didn't really talk about what he was going to do as president. So it kind of just, I felt like it was a waste of my time at this point.
Now, to be fair, that was only after the first 15 minutes or so of the rally. He did end up getting into some more of those policy and specific points. We're live in Mesa. I'm Keaton Thomas, KGUN9 on your side.
Keaton, thank you. 2 people were killed, a third seriously hurt after a medical helicopter crashed in the Superstition Mountains. It happened last night about 60 miles southeast of Phoenix. The pilot and flight nurse were killed. The flight paramedic was taken to the Phoenix Trauma Center and is now in fair condition. There were no patients on board at the time. The cause of the crash is still under investigation tonight. Now to a 9 Your Side crime alert. Tucson police say there's been a 185% increase in organized retail theft, mostly because police are enforcing the crime more and making more arrests. But our property crime rate is still more than double the national average. 9 Your Side's Ricky Mitchell has more on how a new task force plans to address this crime.
In mid-November, 2 thieves stole $3,500 worth of cigarettes from a Circle K. In July, police busted an organized crime ring after surveillance video caught 2 men stealing from a big box store.
This is clearly a big issue.
Michael Varney is the president and CEO of the Tucson Metro Chamber and says they recently formed a task force after learning how bad the retail theft problem was in Tucson.
It seems, based on what I've heard, that the thieves are becoming more scientific, they're becoming bolder.
The task force is made up of about 50 people representing major retailers, law enforcement agencies, and the prosecutor's office. They're working on new ways to fight larceny and organized theft. Last week, Tucson police began targeted enforcement by setting up a command post near Park Place Mall. In one day, they made 3 felony arrests.
A lot of these folks think it's misdemeanors that they're involved in, when in actuality it's a felony.
The task force is also working on ways to upgrade surveillance technology in stores, something Tucson police says hinders the identification process.
Shoplifting is not a victimless crime.
And you may start hearing PSAs on local radio stations as part of this new task force.
It's not a victimless crime. The theft, the level of theft here is so high that every time an honest consumer goes to a grocery store or a major retailer, they're paying for those losses.
And since the formation of Tucson Police's larceny unit in 2014, the department has seen larceny crime rates decrease, but not as much as they wanted. They already have another targeted enforcement planned for next week near the Tucson Mall. Guy?
Thank you. Now turning to weather, where the temps are still low, how long will we have to bundle up?
Here's Chief Meteorologist Erin Christensen with a look at our temps.
Hi guys, a freezing start to the day for many of us, whether you were scraping ice off of your windshield or saw scenes like this, frozen bird bath, frozen fountains, like this one shared by Jan Robinson. It was a chilly day. In fact, we are going to be pretty close to the same temperature again tonight. We were at 28 degrees here in Tucson overnight, 23 Wilcox, 15 in Douglas, 19 Nogales, 1 degree for Show Low. We're talking 27 degrees, so hard freeze conditions once again for Tucson this evening and tomorrow morning. We'll talk about how long these sub-freezing warnings will stick around for and what to expect if you're headed out to tonight's Wildcat basketball game.
Thanks, Erin. Tucson VA is making history.
How this new clinic is making it their mission to serve all who served our country. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.